All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Thanks everyone for joining the bi-weekly live peer community call. We host these every 2 weeks, and we typically stream to crypto.livepeer.tv for those who don't want to participate but stream along. So I think today we might not be streaming there. We are recording it, and we will upload to YouTube and share with the community for later viewing.
I'm streaming it.
We are streaming it. Great. We're live at crypto.livepeer.tv. Excellent. So I think, Nelson, would you like to give a quick overview of today's agenda?
Yeah, sure. So today is just going to be a bit of a sort of general update. So we'll be running through a few different things, including the progress towards internal test nets, the public test net, and basically what the LivePeer team believes they need to achieve to get to the public network, and also an update on the reliability track and an update on the GPU mining track.
Great, sounds good. So I've prepared a little presentation that I'm going to screen share to go over some of that, and I'll kick it over to some other team members for updates on the other track. Specifically, I hope that this is going to be clear and can help kind of create some clarity and visibility into what the core team's been working on, why we're doing that, why it's important, and where we're going. Anything that's not clear, Nelson, not to put you on the spot, but feel free to interrupt me with questions. I want to make it clear for everyone out there, and I think you can do a good job kind of having a point of view and helping guide that as well.
Okay, yeah, we'll do.
Cool. Okay, so let me start a screen share here. Great. Can everyone see this little presentation?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so for this presentation, I kind of want to do a brief recap of the project focus, talk about Streamflow and the rollout phases and where we're currently at, and then kick it over for updates on GPU mining, updates on reliability, and open it up for Q&A. So starting just as kind of a reminder of the focus and like the most important priorities for the project, what we want to do is we want to meet the needs of users. The video transstructure is that we can do video transcoding at scale on demand at a way more affordable and disruptive price to the centralized proprietary providers, and this enables all sorts of use cases and business models in video that couldn't exist, and all sorts of great creative applications to be created. So what do we need to do in order to actually take this first step and demonstrate that we meet the needs of these users of video transcoding? So it's really focusing on kind of reliability, cost, scale, and the product requirements of real users. And so in reliability, we're running at this kind of really ambitious enterprise target of 99.999% ultimate uptime in terms of live transcoding, fast enough for live streams. We think reliability here is unlocked by kind of the cost-efficient redundancies that the networks create, but it also is unlocked by our software development process, and network and software and incentives and protocol that we build needs to be reliable enough to deliver on this. And this is a super tall task, right? I think Eli points out that this equates to a few minutes of downtime per year on any given stream. And so you really need a robust, reliable network and piece of software to do this. And while this target ultimately unlocks kind of all the enterprise platform use cases, hitting kind of other various milestones along the way may unlock other use cases that don't necessarily have this requirement, but this is the target. Cost. So we think we can be 10x cheaper than the cloud providers as a starting point, and even far more disruptive over time as the network becomes efficient and the software becomes proven out. This is hugely disruptive, and it's enabled by kind of the GPU miner opportunity and allowing GPU crypto miners to also encode video at the same time. We're going to get a preview or kind of an update on that project a little bit later in this call. Scale. So this is saying that scaled applications, platforms that need to transcode video can access the scale they need on demand. Now that's something that only the big cloud providers can accomplish, AWS and Google. LivePeer represents an alternative to those that can meet the same on-demand scale requirements if there's enough supply on the network. If there's enough people running LivePeer nodes, orchestrator transcoder setups, and enough GPUs available on the network to transcode video. And that's what the GPU miner track is about. That's what the incentives that exist in the network are about as well. So I hear someone can jump in because I'm looking at my project and on the chat room, but if people have questions as they go, feel free to interrupt me. Okay, and pressing on. Just finally, product requirements are essentially meeting the needs of actual users in the market to make sure that even if we deliver on reliability, cost, and scale, does the LivePeer platform support the features required, or do they have a workflow that supports the features required to actually use in their production applications? And so this is the customer development track and product track we're working on to identify the customer needs and to create the workflows and the integration points that let scaled applications use LivePeer's infrastructure today while ensuring their feature needs are met. And this means integrating with existing services and creating, again, workflows that may allow them to get certain features from other platforms while they're getting the transcoding infrastructure from LivePeer. So this is kind of what the product and customer development track is working on. So this is kind of a summary of our focus. I kind of want to move on and show how this relates to Streamflow and some of the kind of milestones as it relates to rolling out Streamflow that are coming up. So I know this might be a little small, but basically what we're looking at here is a couple different phases that we'll go through as it relates to Streamflow. And I'll talk briefly about what these key milestones are and why these different phases are important and what they'll allow us to accomplish in terms of our goals. So if you look at where we are today in May, we're approaching June, and we're approaching this important milestone of this red star internal confidence. And once we get internal confidence that the Streamflow software is good enough to meet the kind of reliability milestone, that's when we can kind of kick off these two Streamflow tracks, the internal network preview and the testnet beta. So let's talk about kind of the internal Streamflow network preview. So what this is saying, our team is developing the software, we're running it on internal networks, and on the internal networks that we're running with GPU mining enabled, we can achieve a level of reliability that allows a potential user or a partner to begin to explore using this. They can be convinced that this technology can be truly impactful and disruptive to them. And they can begin to explore what an integration looks like and begin testing this network. And so why is this internal instead of public? Because we don't want to be blocked by the iteration in a public network and the lack of reliability that may create, and all the testing that we have to do, micro payments and verification and some of the kind of public network, peer-to-peer networking and whatnot. We don't want that to block the customer development and productization and integration process that we go through to make sure we have the right integration points for end users. So, during this kind of internal network preview, real potential users can begin getting the confidence in exploring integrations and testing the network. And so here it's really about, proving reliability and and proving that we have the right product and integration points for users. Now, simultaneously, you see the testnet beta track. And what that is about not necessarily the end users, but about all of our community, all of the people running infrastructure, the token holders, kind of learning how to participate in the supply side, helping the software iterate and debug around any issues with micropayments or reliability in a public network. So the key things that we can achieve in the testnet data are basically achieving reliability in miners, so they're how to operate a public network, to iterate towards mainnet, of course. So, success here unlocks our ability to go to mainnet, and we want to kind of achieve that reliability parity in the public network. We get kind of integrated more network. So it's a milestone, it's upcoming, but we're at, so everyone can begin in Streamflow. So it's beyond when the reliability in the test, once we know where will be for the user testing on the network, to switch over to use public network, we can be participating in the Streamflow, and this is where we can achieve kind of that additional carry function of the GPU mining thesis, and it allows a global footprint, an open network, the decentralization that you get from everyone being able to participate on the supply side, and this should create, the belief through kind of this global network, the cost-efficient redundancies, you actually get the full impact of live peer. Now, will there be iteration? Will there be productization needing to deliver this? Of course, that's why this is, still very much a beta, but this should be usable by real users at scale to have their needs met, which is the core focus and the core goal of why we're doing this. So I think that's a good place to pause. You can look at kind of beyond that and look at fit and what it means to move to kind of production and growth phase, particularly on the kind of user acquisition side of the house. But I think these kind of first three phases that take us certainly through the end of the year and into 2020 are what the community is really excited about. They're like the near-term priorities, and that kind of gives you a view of how we're thinking about it.